DeathsStalker here. So I thought I would take you down Beach Boulevard. This was sort of like a recreational area back in the 1800s. And a lot of houses and whatnot. Cottages were built, and some of the cottages turned into houses. And it was even when I was a kid back in the 60s, it was a place you could actually go to relax. They had an amusement park here. Now, what's going to be interesting is you're going to see some new houses in with the old. What happened here was in the 1950s we had a hurricane come through. Now, I know you're sitting there, you're in the Great Lakes of Ontario, how the heck do you have a hurricane? Well, we had one. It was called Hurricane Hazel. And this whole area here was underwater. A lot of houses were destroyed. There was a lot of people lost their lives and whatnot. And the result of that was it created the conservation authorities, which, you know, deal with flooding and water management. And a lot of areas that were low-lying like this, the government tried to buy the houses back. And residents who lived here didn't necessarily want to sell them. You know, as far as I can tell, we've only ever really had 2 hurricanes ever in the recorded history, like the last 200 years. So it's not a pretty common event. You can see some of the new houses here, because what happened was the government actually did manage to buy and expropriate a lot of these houses. And you can see it in, like, here's like an empty field in this corner that would have been a house. You know, like where this playground is, there probably was a couple of houses before the playground was put in. There was hotels and whatnot, because this was a place where in the summer you go down by the beach and go for a swim in the freezing cold lake of waters of Lake Ontario, and I mean freezing cold. So it sort of actually became its own little community. You know, it has schools and whatnot, and a few shops. And when they actually built the Queen Elizabeth Way, which is the highway to the left over here, you can see the bridge off in the distance. You'll see it more when we get closer. You know, prior to that, a lot of people actually used to drive through here, because the way to cross the canal up ahead was through this lift bridge, which we'll see. So I haven't been down here for about 10 years, so I just thought I'm sort of looking around too for the first time in a while. They actually do have some very cool looking old houses here. But there is some new ones as well. You do have to put up with the noise from the highway. They have noise barriers here, but you know, when 20 or 30 transport trucks go by, you still hear it. Yeah. The pub right there, you get chicken wings. And again, here's some of the new houses that have gone in. And some houses look like they're abandoned, they're being worked on. Houses for sale. No idea what they go for, but they're probably not cheap. Nothing is cheap around here anymore. And some more empty lots. Now, when we do get storms, you know, this place will get a, you know, we have what's called onshore and offshore winds, and if the wind's blowing one way, like the wind normally blows from west to east, and if that happens, we don't really get a lot of bad weather here. But you know, a couple times a year the wind will switch around and it'll come from east to west, which means we get, you know, crapped on. In the summertime you get unbelievable amounts of rain, in the winter times you get unbelievable amounts of snow. So you can imagine what this place must be like, being right next to the water, if all of a sudden we're getting tons of snow or tons of rain. But that is pretty much the end of Beach Boulevard. Now, right here where this park is, used to be a amusement ride, and this place had been around since the 30s or 40s, and that's why they have a new sign here, because there's always been a stop sign here, but I don't know. Anyways, and I remember going once or twice as a kid to it. It was as my grandmother used to call it, deer, because deer was expensive back then. But you can see that's the Skyway Bridge, or the Bergen Bay Bridge, whatever, depending on what side of the canal you're from. And that's the lift bridge. That's where they the ships come through on the way to the harbor to pick up their loads or deposit their loads. Now the highway was, the bridge here was actually twinned, I'm going to say probably 30 years ago, because of the amount of traffic coming through here. This was a congestion point. And that's Lake Ontario off to the side there. And this is a kind of a sketchy bridge because of the way the steel is. You front and back wheel of my bike are now picking different routes. Never fun to ride on. Anyways, that was Beach Boulevard. Hope you enjoyed it. DeathsStalker signing out.